Welcome to Kidmissing TV. I am your host, Angelina Wilson. This is the case of Kimberly Best and Paige Sinclair. They were 15 years old when their bodies were found on October 5th, 1977. Now, a week later, on October 12th, two other teenage girls were attacked in the same area where the bodies were found, which were found down an embankment in a heavily wooded eastern side area of Lake Clementine, which is in California. And those two girls escaped. Were the cases connected? Probably, in my opinion. Let's see. Forest Hills, California. It's in Placer County, which is in Northern California. And on Forest Hill Drive, Forest Hill Road in that town takes you to the Forest Hill Bridge, which is the highest bridge in California, and into the town of Auburn, which it connects with Interstate 80. If you take I-80 west, you'll end up in Sacramento, capital of California, which means it's kind of in the middle. I thought Placer was a little further north, but it's kind of in the middle. East, you'll drive to Tahoe. So it's pretty far north. It's like Tahoe's pretty far north. But it's north and west. Nevada is about an hour and a half away. These two girls on the morning of October 3rd got on the school bus in the town of Dallas, Oregon. And apparently they had talked to their friends about running away, and one of the girls was seen on the school bus with a suitcase. So it was first believed they hitchhiked from Dallas, Oregon to Corvallis, Oregon, where they purchased bus tickets that took them the 500 miles south to Sacramento. However, a truck driver later testified he picked the girls up in Klamath Falls, Oregon, and he was the one who dropped them off in Sacramento on the 4th. Exact details after this are not clear. And they were found on the 5th, so they were only gone 2 days. There were alleged sightings of them hitchhiking at the intersection of Madison Avenue and I-80 near American River College, because this is on the fork of the American River, at around 9 a.m. And other witnesses also claim to have seen them talking to bikers outside of Auburn, California, as late as 3 p.m. that day. Neither account could be verified, of course. Whoever gave the girls a ride first drove them up Forest Hill and then turned left down the winding, nearly hidden dirt road that led to Upper Lake Clementine Beach. They said young people like to go to the beach there and stay for days. I guess they camped out. I don't know. They said in quotes, stayed for days. Someone was familiar with the area where they took the two girls. the sheriff's coroner, William A. Scott, later stated. This is what was found at the scene of the murders. Soda and beer cans, a pack of cigarettes, a notebook, a shotgun shell, pages, flour, printed suitcase containing clothes, costume, jewelry, and a few other items lay nearby. Both girls had superficial markings on their necks. They were identified by their student IDs and library cards, also found with them. One was taken from this planet with a .38 caliber pistol. The other one was hit with 2 different objects on this area. That's brutal. The one that was bludgeoned was fully clothed. The other one appeared to have been personally assaulted or attempted to have been personally assaulted because her pants were down around her ankles and her shirt was up around her neck. So they believe they may be connected to the Santa Rosa hitchhiker murders. Keep in mind, this was 1977. Hitchhiking was very common. Okay. 12 days later, a 26-year-old American River College student named Kenneth Lane was arrested at his home in Citrus Heights. They identified his truck because of a license plate that a lady supposedly gave under hypnosis. But then she said she added the beard after she saw his to her description of the man after she saw his picture in the paper, which to me just throws everything up in the air. Okay. He took them to his truck to find his gun because he did have a .38 caliber pistol. It wasn't there. He had grips for it. He had his bullets. He said that must have been something that was taken in the robbery. And the police knew he was telling the truth because both the police and his insurance company had been notified of the robbery in September. So, again, we have a problem. Now, they claim the bullet casings from his dog that they mercy killed matched the bullet casing in Kimberly's case. Okay. So this man had receipts and eyewitness testimony that confirmed he was at a hardware store in Sacramento at the time that the girls were killed. So yeah. Um, and get this one. Placer County Sheriff's Inspector Johnny Smith on the witness stand, quote, admitted neglecting to collect or consider numerous items found at the crime scene, including Page's suitcase and coat, soft drink and beer cans, the shotgun shell, a notebook, cigarette papers, and a Marlboro soft pack right by the blood on the road. He further admitted he never asked Lane if he smoked. Lane, who underwent surgery for colon cancer in 1974 and regularly traveled to Tijuana for quack cancer treatments, did not smoke. The judge finally declared a mistrial on November 13th, 1978, which was the next year. He was tried 3 times, and each time resulted in a hung jury. This guy didn't do this. He said after they decided not to try him a 4th time on July 2nd, 1979, the worst is knowing I didn't do anything. I had to sit there and hear people talk about me and see the way they would look at me. End quote. Officer James D'Angelo was arrested for stealing dog repellent and a hammer from the Pay and Save in Citrus Heights, one of the guys on the case, and he was, of course, fired. And it turns out he was, in fact, the Golden State Killer. On August 21st, 2020, 75-year-old D'Angelo, serial killer, serial rapist, burglar, and peeping Tom, was sentenced to life in prison for committing at least 13 confirmed murders, 13 kidnappings, 51 rapes, and 120 burglaries. He was one of the most prolific serial offenders in history, and between 1974 and 1980, he carried out a campaign of sexual terrorism across Placer County. And after he was arrested for shoplifting and fired, he moved to Southern California, where he continued his reign of terror. In 2001, DNA evidence definitively linked the crimes to each other, and he was identified in 2017. When Detective Paul Holes, if you want to know more about Detective Holes, he had his own case, really cool, that my mother and I used to watch. An FBI lawyer, Steve Kramer, uploaded genetic material found in a rape kit to a genealogy website. So, is he the one that killed the 2 of them? I think it's likely. One amateur investigator noted that they had posted the case on their Twitter, and Paul Holes said he has to be considered. Well, absolutely, in my opinion. Okay. So this poor man was tortured by three separate trials. There has to be a limit, don't you think? They talked to one of the two girls who was attacked by this person calling himself Larry in the same exact area. And even police said these bodies were found in the same area. And you are two of his exhuming the girls. And they even told the girls that had been attacked before that the girls were so badly beaten they couldn't identify them. Well, then how did they identify them by their IDs if they couldn't identify them? There's a lot going on there, and there needs to be exhumations, DNA, the whole bit. Given the time period, they didn't have DNA. So, she also had told her coworker at the hotel that she was pregnant. There was no indication, as far as I could tell, in the autopsy of either girl being pregnant. So, was it even the same girl? You know? Police need to investigate that too. And in fact, the man who supposedly beat that girl was called to the witness stand by Kenneth Lane's lawyer, who also happened to be his lawyer in a previous drug charge. So, yeah. So, thank you so much for joining me. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I will see you Friday. And like I said, I will see you Monday, but I will not see you Wednesday next week because it's Christmas. So, bye guys.